Time Gate Moments. Welcome.
Hi there, guys, brothers and sisters, men and ladies, as well as anyone else out there that might be watching somewhere, somehow. Welcome to the platform, the video, as well as the channel. You are watching Time Gate Moments. Yes, proof 23, or shall we say episode 23, in case there are globists and others of that nature watching this video. Whatever the word, the terminology, etc., it doesn't really matter. Proof, session, episode, because the outcome is always going to be the same. A necessary contribution to the truth in cosmology, cosmography, geography, and astronomy. For sure, certainly. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Your enthusiasm, your viewership, whether you agree or disagree, is really, really appreciated. Why not? There is no harm in seeing something from a different perspective. So if you have any disagreements or rebuttals, drop us a comment. Why not? Anyway, in this video, Proof 23, episode 23, we are going to look at mountains. What are the functions, the purpose, and the engineering capacity of mountains in our Earth? Our flat, stationary, and expansive terrestrial Earth. So keep watching. Let's delve into this topic some more. Let's go. Stay with us. Mountains. They were here before the light had a name. Long, long time ago. Long before the first heartbeat of the world, the great mountains rose from the cooling, black crust of the earth, not as stone, but as silent, watching entities. In the valleys below, humanity builds its fleeting empires, whispering tales of the peaks as mere rock and ice. But the mountains do not think in stone. They think in epochs. Their roots reach down into the deep, dark spaces, where the earth's oldest secrets are buried, drinking from the primordial fires that birth the continents. When the wind blows through their jagged canyons, it is not the weather, it is their slow, grinding breath, carrying a language too heavy for human ears to comprehend. To look upon them is to feel an ancient, crushing weight, a default inspiration of awe, formidable strength, and the evermore presence of immovability and might. They do not invite a climb, they tolerate it, the way a sleeping giant tolerates the insects crawling across its knuckles. Climbers speak of the zone of silence, near the highest summits, a place where even the wind dies, and the air grows thick with a heavy, deliberate presence. In that stillness, the mountains watch. Brothers, sisters, and viewers, mountains are not just megalithic structures. They are the cement, foundations, and building blocks that hold together the terrestrial flat plane. Without their crushing weight anchoring the corners of the earth, the ground beneath our feet would fracture and drift into the black void. They are the pillars of reality. This reflects the Quranic perspective found in chapter 78, verses 6 to 7, and also chapter 16, verse 15, which detail mountains as being set firmly into the earth so that it does not shake, let alone spin, These are the enchanted peaks, the original skyscrapers that humbled both men and women, as well as beasts. So that's the mystical, intrinsic, and archaic representations of mountains as these tremendous megalithic structures that seem to sit in the background in many parts across the earth.
And there are so many of them, ranging in size, age, and location, dotted across the terrestrial plane of our Earth. Mount Fuji, Cook Mountain, Kailash of China, the Carpathians, the Urals of Russia, K2 of Pakistan, the Atlas Mountains of North Africa, Kilimanjaro, the French Alps, the Andes, the Rockies, sometimes in a chain of mountains, such as the Himalayas and Mount Everest, and sometimes standing alone. Other than the persona and primordial spirit of size and sheer presence, what is the function, purpose, and engineering capacity of mountains?
Allah, the creator of the sky above and the earth down below, made it crystal clear the purpose of mountains in the Quran, the last revelation to mankind. Now, in the majestic Quran, again and again and again, we are told about the purpose and the function of mountains. You can find this expressed in many parts of the Quran in clear details. You see, the mountains were put into place. They were built right into the earth and across the earth to act and function as mega structures, stabilizers, building blocks, and foundations for this tremendous terrestrial flat plane and the continents. Just to refer to the Bible momentarily, that is the Old Testament. Mountains and the dry land were formed on the third day of creation. According to the book of Genesis 1, verses 9 to 10, Allah commanded the waters under the sky to gather into one place so that the dry land would appear. In other poetic biblical literature, like the book of Psalms 104 and the book of Job, that is Ayyub alayhi salam, chapter 38, this event is described as Allah laying down the foundations of the earth, early earth, and raising the mountains up out of the deep waters while the valleys sank down.
At this stage, we have to clarify a misconception or two. When the Quran says, also in some cases the Bible, that the heavens and the earth were created in 6 days, this is not referring to 6 24-hour days. Instead, this is referring to 6 ages, 6 periods, 6 days, 6 epochs, 6 stages of creation, 6 moments. You see, for example, when the Quran says the day of judgment, the day of judgment, this is not referring to a 24-hour day. You see, rather it is referring to a period of time, when humanity will be judged, the day of judgment. You see, that's what it's talking about. These are linguistic expressions to signify and simplify the foreshadowing of major events in the future or sometime in the past in relation to the perception of time in the heavens and down here on earth. For example, in chapter 31, verses 1 to 6, Allah tells us that the heavens and the earth were created in 6 stages. Yet 1,000 human or earthly years is like a single day in the heavens. You see, the point is just as the day of judgment will not take place in 24 hours, likewise, the 6 stages or 6 days of creation is not referring to 24-hour days like us here on earth.
And in case you still don't get it, because you are so modern, you are so intelligent, you are so advanced, you have your smartphone and what have you, you prefer the modern pseudoscientism and the myriad of optic illusion and the magical spells, the falsifications against Allah and His special creation. In that case, let us clarify it for you some more. The 6 days or 6 stages of creation is not necessarily referring to your 24-hour earthly days. No, any regular person with some yeast in their loaf can figure that one out. No, rather, this is an expression, a snapshot, a summary, a timeline to signify and show the believer that it took 6 successive events in a given timeline for the origin of life and creation to come into being. This is very simple to understand and has been so for thousands and thousands of years. That is until NASA hijacked the truth just yesterday. Now look at this example, this sample here for the 6-day creation basics. In the first day, or shall we say the first event or epoch or the stage, the first stage of creation, the day and the night were formed. And then later on, subsequently, in the 4th day, or in the 4th period, or in the 4th stage, or the 4th event of creation, the sun, the moon, and the celestial bodies were put in the sky and into motion. Very simple to understand. Likewise, we have in the 3rd day, land, vegetation, and other earthly elements and objects were created. And then likewise, in the 5th day, or the 5th stage, or the 5th period of creation, the fish and the birds were put in the sky, in the oceans, the rivers, and what have you. Section by section, stage by stage, manifestation by manifestation. Remember, human beings came into the equation in the latter period. In other words, before that, we are talking from primordial times, when the day, the night, the seas and the sky, the sun, the moons, and the stars were created. All the way until human beings, Adam and Eve, came into the equation, as well as land animals and what have you. You see, all this took 6 periods or 6 stages of creation. Even the creation, the individual creation of our forefather, Adam or Adam alayhi salam, that took different stages. At one point, he was dust collected from the arena of the earth, and that was later mixed with water or some other element of that nature. And then that was allowed some time to age and mature. And later on, he became, was it clay or mud or something of that form. And then later on, he was configured, he was formed in his own image as an adult. The first human prototype, you see, Adam alayhi salam. And then later on, as time lapsed, the soul or the spirit or the breath of life was given to him, which made him full human. You see, our forefather, Adam. Now, just to go back to mountains, our main topic. Mountains are part of the 3rd day or 3rd stage of creation, as you can see here on the table. landscape, trees, vegetation, and mountains were created in the third stage of creation and events. Now, for how long? The length, the duration that it took land and mountains to appear into existence, we don't know. You can theorize, you can put numbers to it, but we don't know in reality and actuality. For example, likewise, in the fifth stage or the fifth day, we have fish and birds that came into the equation. For how long did that take place? We don't know. And frankly, it's just not essential. You see, what is really relevant and we are being informed about is that creation as we know it took six successive stages in a given timeline in order for the origin of life and creation to come into existence. Simple. Okay, that's the 6 day creation misconceptions clarified. Anything left over is just a residue of modern scientism and it is arrogance against traditional basics and truth. Anyway, let us continue with our main theme of mountains. And in case there are Muslims watching this video somehow, somewhere, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings and mercy of Allah, the Most High, subhanahu wa ta'ala, be upon all of you, wherever you are, however you are, the young, the old, and in between. Having said that, oh Muslims, pay attention to this verse. And of course, as you know, there are many other similar verses all over the Quran. Anyway, this one is from chapter 16, verse 15. Allah, the Creator, has built into the earth sets of firmly placed mountains. What's the reason? Let's ask that question one more time. What is the purpose? In case there is a shift in the earth, or there is a wobble, or rotation, or shaking about, or spinning, or tilting, or a collapse. That's why. Look around in your own homes and houses and palaces and buildings and flats and what have you. Look at the walls, the pillars, the columns, the cement work, the foundations, the building foundations. You see, all these engineering factors and expertise is what is keeping your home and your building together from shaking about the place, from collapsing, and what have you. You see, exactly in the same way, the earth is built on a flat, level surface, held together by great mountainous regions. Fact. Many contemporary Muslims would desperately refer to this verse and other similar verses in the Quran in their attempt to defend the spinning ball of NASA and their modern optic illusion, and therefore forcing the Quran to somewhat appear to be compatible with modern secular ideals and scientism. They basically, without thinking or observing for themselves, read and apply modern solar system and NASA optic illusion and CGI garbage right into the Quran, even though it's not there in the Quranic text. You see, even though the Quran makes it crystal clear, verbatim, that it is a geocentric book and that the earth as a realm is built on a flat stationary platform configured together by great mountains. Talk about following like sheep and the mass impact of modern social media and optic illusion of the Dajjal. So now we are going to revisit this verse in order to explain the simple and straightforward meaning of the text verbatim, in order to demystify any previously held misconceptions or distortions about this verse, as well as any other geologic verses in the Quran, through simple observation of the world around us, as well as basic phenomena, you see, without any complexity or referring to NASA modern optic illusion and CGI garbage and rubbish.
As you can see on this short video illustration, these easterly clouds are moving and shifting slowly and gradually against the benchmark of the rooftop. The rooftop is just to show you the activity in the background as the clouds slowly shift. This is what Allah is referring to in chapter 27, verse 88, where the mountains, although you see them as fixed, they also shift like the clouds, gradually, slowly. Of course, as you can see on this video, first, this shifting and movement is very difficult to see at first glance. But as you pay attention, especially for example against this rooftop benchmark, you start to see the clouds shift. You see, sometimes the clouds can be even much slower than these ones, but still they shift. This is what the Quran is talking about, not some spinning, what is it, indication or some kind of hint or some kind of implicit statement about an Earth or a globe that is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Here's the first right here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وترى الجبال تحسبها جامدة وهي تمر مر السحاب صنع الله الذي أتقن كل شيء إنه خبير بما تفعلون. You see, this is referring to the geologic forces that crunch and move mountains over a long time. Much slower than clouds, but similar. Much slower than clouds to the naked eye, but very similar. Hence, tamurru sahab. Here we go, right here. Mountains are constantly moving. This has nothing to do with a spinning globe at 1,000 miles an hour, oh people. Subhanallah. It is so crystal clear. Go and speak to those people who study geology, tectonic plates, the Earth's topography, and they will tell you exactly what the Quran is telling you. Think. All this spinning globe nonsense. In other words, the formation and shifting of mountains in terms of what our eyes can see in real time is a very slow process. You see, a good example or analogy would be the same way our nails grow, very slow. See, a very slow process, yet your nails grow out of your fingers. Just to go back to this verse for a moment, have you noticed that there is no mention of earth in this verse whatsoever? Only clouds, mountains, motion, and Allah's design are mentioned, but there is no mention of earth in the equation. Think about that. Here is another fact about the reality and truthfulness of this verse. Did you know the motion of clouds and the geologic formation and shifting of mountains are scientifically, experimentally, and observably demonstrable? However, the supposed spinning of the Earth at 1,000 miles an hour, according to NASA, has never ever been scientifically, experimentally, and observably been tested or demonstrated. Fact. It is just a false claim by the kuffar, reinforced by their optic illusion and visuals. Hence, ذَلِكَ الظَّنُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا.
Let's take another look of another cloud example. Right here, as you can see, the clouds are moving gradually and slowly. You see, now some clouds are even much slower than these ones. Now, this is the comparison Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about in the verse. وَتَرَى الْجِبَالَ تَحْسَبُهَا جَامِدَةً وَهِيَ تَمُرُّ مَرَّ السَّحَابِ. You see, you would see the mountains and think they are fixed in place, but they are shifting like the shifting of the clouds. You see, very slow, gradual process.
So now if you pay attention closely to these clouds, they are actually going towards the south, southerly clouds, moving really, really slow, almost invisible to the naked eye. You see, very interesting indeed. If you look at the, what's that, the plumbing, what's that, is that a pipe? If you look at that, you can see just in the background against that pipe, you can see they are moving to the south. Pay attention right there. Let that be your marking point, which you measure against the motion. Now, this is what Allah is talking about. The mountains moving like clouds. Very slow process. You see, almost like funnels. You see, as we discussed earlier. You see? Only that the clouds are slightly faster and the mountains are even much slower. So yeah, you see that? See the shift? That's from this distance, that's what? That's about what? At least as 2 centimeters. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You know, tamurru marra sahab, sun'a Allahi. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. You see? We're not talking about no spinning, wobbling earth or a globe somewhere. Put all that garbage in the bin. What you can observe in the natural world, in the real world, is what is happening. Not all that optic illusion garbage that you have been fed since your school days. All that Hollywood globe in your class, posters and all that nonsense. It's all lies. Wallahi, by Allah, most of it is lies. Have you ever felt or have you seen the earth on which you live spin or shift or move even a little bit? The answer is nope. It is really a shame, and in some cases unacceptable. Of course, a product of the environment that many Muslims don't really pay attention or observe what the Quran is actually saying. Rather, they prefer the lies and the optic illusion of the kuffar. Very interesting. This is definitely one of the modern day phenomena, for sure.
Tectonic plates is slow, gradual movement and shifting of mountains and rock formations so that new valleys may form over what thousands and thousands of years. You see, a new landscape may appear, a new peak may just protrude from an already existing mountain set. You see, we are talking centimeters a year. You see, as you can see here on this sample, roughly compared to the growing processes of fingernails. You see, because this motion is continuous, steady, and operates on a geologic timescale. The drifting of continents and mountains cannot be seen with the naked eye in real time. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about in the Quran. وَتَرَى الْجِبَالَ, you see, جَامِدَةً وَهِيَ تَمُرُّ مَرَّ السَّحَابِ. Subhanallah. What are you talking about with the spinning earth of 1,000 miles an hour somewhere in space? Not some fake, fictitious, fabricated, unverifiable, unobservable globe earth that is allegedly dashing throughout the vacuum of space while supposedly spinning and wobbling on its own axis at neck-breaking speeds of 1,000 miles an hour. Can you imagine? Can you fathom, men, ladies, brothers and sisters, and anyone else that may be watching this video? Can you imagine our entire earth allegedly is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour every day? Can you imagine? The entire scheme of modern cosmology and the so-called solar system and their fake studio-produced planets and stars, the whole shebang, the globe projections, you see, the mass usage of optic illusion, posters, CGI, and what have you, fake updates, photoshopped images of a spinning ball Earth somewhere in space. You see, the whole thing is just fake. The fake missions of one day going to Mars or having landed on the moon and so and so. You see, the whole thing is just fake. The deception, the deceit, the CGI, the fake updates of NASA, the ISS, the ESA, and what have you. It's just all fake. That's the reality. The truth is more terrifying than fiction. The entire project and its administration is just one big continuous mission to police the sky as well as control public opinion about the sky above and the real shape of our earth, you see, which is diabolically horrendous, as well as intellectual insincerity on a major scale about the sky above and the real geographic reality of our earth. And by the way, yes, this includes the Chinese moon landing, the supposed moon landing of the Indians back in August 2023, as well as the 1969 NASA moon landing fakes. It is all fake and it's just part of an international agreement and secrecy to keep the sky hidden. Simple. Back to mountains, back to the real world, back to the earth down over here. The reality of what you can see and sense, of what you can feel, touch, and observe intuitively, scientifically, practically, repeatably. Mountains, as we have already discussed and extensively demonstrated in this video so far. Mountains serve as the pillars, the columns, the foundations, the great megalithic structures and stakes on which this earth is built on. Our earth, our flat, stationary earth, Mother Earth, Gaia, just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, as well as in previous scriptures, such as the Bible, and in many other ancient cultures, legacies, and traditions. If you are watching this video because you have a tendency or an inquisitive mind to seek the truth, go and do your independent research into the flat earth topic and subject. Check out why they had to fake the moon landing, why they had to establish the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Read about what really causes eclipses. If you are of the Jewish faith or a Christian who recognizes and follows the uncorrupted aspects of the Bible, then yes, the flat earth and related activity as indicated in the Bible is much closer to the truth and reality in terms of the shape of the earth and the sky above. And for the Muslims, that verse from chapter 27, verse 88 that we have been discussing, وَتَرَى الْجِبَالَ تَحْسَبُهَا جَامِدَةً وَهِيَ تَمُرُّ مَرَّ السَّحَابِ, has absolutely nothing to do with spinning earths and rotating globes, nothing, but has everything to do with tectonic plates, shifting rock formations, and geologic forces. Check out this short video to comprehensively clarify and substantiate what the Quran is talking about on the topic of mountains and the forces that shape them.
Thou seest the mountains, and thinkest them firmly fixed, but they shall pass away as the clouds pass away. With this verse, the Quran informs us that mountains are not motionless as they seem, but are in constant motion. What does the movement of mountains, like clouds, mean? What do scientists say about this fact informed by the Quran 1400 years ago? Now, let us see what science says about it. For the first time in history, a German scientist called Alfred Wegener proposed that the continents of the Earth had been attached together when it first formed, but then drifted in different directions, and thus separated as they moved away from each other. However, geologists understood that Wegener was right only 50 years after his death, that is, in the 1980s. As Wegener pointed out in an article published in 1915, the land masses on the Earth were joined together about 500 million years ago. And this large mass, called Pangaea, was located in the South Pole. These continents, which emerged after the split of Pangaea, have been constantly moving on the Earth's surface at a rate of several centimeters per year, and in the meantime changing the sea-to-land ratios of the Earth. This movement of the Earth's crust, which was discovered at the beginning of the 20th century as a result of the geological researches, is explained as follows in Science Resources. The Earth's surface, which consists of the crust and upper mantle, is made up of parts called plates. There are 6 large plates and numerous small plates forming the surface of the Earth. According to this theory, called plate tectonics, these plates move on the Earth by drifting the continents and the ocean floor. It is calculated that the continental movement is 1 to 5 centimeters per year. As the plates move like this, changes happen in the geography of the world. For instance, the Atlantic Ocean expands every year. An important point to mention here is this. In the verse, Allah uses the word tamuru, drifting, to describe the movement of the mountains. It is interesting that the term used by scientists today is continental drift. The word used by the Quran and the term scientists use is the same. Both the Quran and scientists use the word drifting for this movement. Now, let us analyze this scientific miracle. The movement of the continents is a fact that could not have been observed at the time when the Quran was sent down. It is impossible for a human being to have this knowledge on his own at that time. This fact was discovered as late as the beginning of the 20th century. Therefore, Allah used the phrase, "You see the mountains and think them firmly fixed," in the verse, and stated beforehand how people would evaluate the issue. However, He explained a fact after that and stated that mountains were drifted just like clouds were drifted. That is, He attracted attention to the movement of mountains and the fact that the continents moved along with mountains. As it is seen, attention is attracted to the motion of the plate on which mountains are located. It is a great miracle that this fact, which has been discovered by science recently, is mentioned in the Quran. And this also proves clearly that the Quran is the word of Allah, and the person who informs us about it is the messenger of Allah. Those who reject it have to explain how Hazrat Muhammad, peace be upon him, obtained this knowledge 1400 years ago.
Okay guys, men and ladies, brothers and sisters, and even wildlife, thanks a lot for watching. You have been watching Time Gate Moments. And no, it's not over yet. Let's keep going. This is a very, very interesting video right here about mountains. So anyway, so far in this video, we have checked out, we have demonstrated, we have delved into general knowledge about mountains, that mountains, they act and function as the Earth's primary life cycle support systems. You see, very, very critical, providing vital, ecological, climatic and survival resources that sustain life both on the peaks and the far downstreams. So yeah, go and check it out, read a little bit about geology, the formation of mountains, the rivers, and other part of the landscape of our Earth out there. You know, go out there and do a little bit of outdoor activity. Why not? Get your tent, your your tea, your food, and hit the highway or the mountain slopes, Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider stuff. You know, why not? Shaka Zulu. You might just meet Bigfoot out there and then report it back to us. Why not? Anyway, our mountains, they cover about 30% of the Earth's land surface. Very important. These massive landforms are not just static geographic features. They directly support the livelihoods of over 1.1 billion people and influence global environmental stability. You see, as we have already mentioned, mountains serve as the pegs, the stabilizers, and the great megalithic structures that support and keep together this great, tremendous, and extensive flat plain. So it's no joke. Go and check it out. And by the way, for the Muslims, as we have already discussed, yes, crystal clear. The verses of the Quran mentioning and explaining mountains have absolutely all of them, they have nothing to do with a allegedly or supposedly spinning earth. Nothing, such as the verse from chapter 27, verse 88 we looked at. You see, وَتَرَى الْأَرْضَ I beg your pardon, no. وَتَرَى الْجِبَالَ تَحْسَبُهَا جَامِدَةً وَهِيَ تَمُرُّ مَرَّ السَّحَابِ. You see the mountains as though, and think as though they are fixed and stationary, but they are shifting like the shifting of clouds. And yeah, here at Time Gate Moments, we have already demonstrated that crystal clear right there. The shifting of mountains is a very, very, very slow, gradual geologic shifting of rock formations, valleys. You can't see it with the naked eye. That's the whole point. So it's similar to the movement and the shifting of clouds upstairs, but they are even much, much slower, almost similar to the growing of nails or your teeth, you see. So that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. Think, people, not some spinning earth of 1,000 miles an hour. Just observe, see for yourself, and the truth shall set you free. Welcome to the Flat Earth campaign. You know, the more and more research you do into the flat earth topic with an open mind, open heart, by being objective, fair, and independent in your research, the more and more you realize that there is really no globe earth or solar system. It is just modern optic illusion, CGI, and sophisticated lies, for sure. Anyway, guys, if you are a Muslim and have been following the channel as well as watching this video here, we strongly recommend Flat Earth Basics for a Muslim Audience, Proof 17. Go and check it out. In this video, somewhat extensive, it makes it crystal clear that the Quran is a geocentric book and that the earth is flat and it has been built into place by mountainous regions. Sang, sing, song, sing, sang, yeah, 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 song, 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 yeah, 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 song, song, yeah, 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 sing, song, sing, yeah, 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 whoa, 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 whoa.